every day. When I do these twitches, it's called tics. Tics. So sometimes I I make sounds, I make noise, or I twitch or I tics. I tick that involuntary lah. Yeah, it's a urge lah. Yeah, involuntary.
I guess it's like a very big spectrum. There's always like motor tics where we keep hitting ourselves,
Or the thing. Yes.
yeah, or like things around us, vocal tics, and vocal tics also comprises of like coprolalia, which is like the swearing component of it, which is non-intended, I guess. It's what's that word? Involuntary.
Yeah, involuntary.
yeah. So people often misunderstand us for having a foul mouth or like swearing at people, but actually it's something that we cannot help.
There's also echolalia,
Yeah.
where we pick up sounds from the environment or other people, and somehow our tics just copies it.
I think it's when I was 9 or 10, somewhere around there. When I was studying, and I start having the need to do this voice, and then my eyes started to like blinking. I keep blinking my eyes. And then at that moment, I also don't know what it is. I thought it was a habit. My family thought it was a habit. My parents thought it was a habit, and of course, they tell me to stop it and scold me. There's a lot of things. So, and at that time at school, it was very awkward because I have to do the voice, and I also don't know why do I need to do this. Also, my family, they kind of think it was a bad habit. So after they did research. They did research, and around 11 years old, that they found on Google, which is called something called Tourette's, and they decided to bring me to a specialist, neurologist, and diagnosed me with Tourette syndrome.
I was diagnosed with TS at the age of 9. So it started out with like vocal tics. And so yeah, my parents sent me to a psychiatrist that time, because that time it's not a really known thing, and there was no neurologist, so I was sent to psychiatrist and like prescribed like antipsychotic medication, which I took for like quite long, more than 10 years. Yeah, it had very bad side effects. So that's how I was diagnosed.
My first onset was around 7 to 8 years old, and then but I was only diagnosed like at 14. So I spent my childhood not knowing what was going on. So it wasn't just me. My parents also like don't know what was that, but they treated it as a habit. Miku. Yeah. So because they treated it as a habit, then I got, reprimanded for my tics. So then the school, also all the other adults around me would do the same.
Most of the time, at public, people who don't know, they will stare at me for a while. Like those not to say uneducated, but they lack of the understanding of Tourette's, of us, people like us. They will stare at us for a long time. I've been mocked by other people. They copy my tics, they make fun of me.
I would say the older generation, like they can be taken aback, and like some people like start making fun, or like they just, it's not very nice.
Like I don't take public transport because it's just too much anxiety. I don't go to cafes and things like that because I just feel like that's a lot of noise.
Every time I go into the Grab, I will explain my condition first because I don't want to scare them, because of course I cannot control. I will make sound sometimes in the Grab car. So I will explain to them my condition and don't worry about it, anything about everything. I explain to them, and of course, I've been experienced some driver that reject me lah. Yeah, they reject me. They call me to cancel the drive because maybe they're scared. Their human side is normal lah, and I don't mind lah.
And a lot of younger people know what it is these days, so I don't need to
TikTok.
explain myself.
People
I love it. Thank you guys. Then, so there was another table of a group of students. I think they're a lot younger, and they were like, I think they didn't know what it was, so they were just not mimicking. They were laughing about it. So I got a bit annoyed. From my table, I said, guys, I have Tourette syndrome. And then they responded not very nicely. But before they left, they came up to our table and apologized. And I'm like, wow, this generation is going to heal the world. I don't know. And then like a week later, in the same space, this librarian comes up to us and he's like asking what this sound is and tells me to control myself, and I explained I got Tourette's, and then this librarian was just continuing. He was very ignorant about it, so he continued like, oh, but you in a public space, you need to control your behavior. I was like, huh? No, it's a disability. But he went on and on about it, like very adamant about it. And then he says, so I replied like, am I supposed to just stay at home then? Because this is public space, I should control myself. And then he said, oh, maybe you can find a corner. And I'm like, huh?
The more people ask us to control ourselves, the more it all bursts. Because the longer you control it,
So I like, huh? Control my behavior? Go find a corner? Apa ni? But my friend stepped in and like mediated things, and we apologized to each other. And she wrote an email to the uni about it. But you see, these different groups of people, a generation, I feel it's like treating us, like how they treat us is also very different.
I also went through a lot of hardship in terms of like public acceptance, and if you compare like 20 years ago and now, there's like quite a lot of change, I would say. Like even like I go to shops and the shop assistant is like, oh my god, you have Tourette's, miss, and they also know it. So it's like and they're all young people, so I would say the younger generation. Side effects of those medications just like knock you out. So for most of my secondary education, I would say I was quite
Floating.
it's floating. Like it makes you really sleepy, and it was really hard to study. I was lucky enough that I was not really bullied in school. But for me, I think it's like more like my adult life, where I had to start working and like find jobs. That's where the real hardship comes, because rejection after rejection, people don't want to hire. I have skills and I have like experience and capabilities, but like in terms of job hunting, it's really difficult and tough. I personally got offloaded from a flight before. They took me out. I declared on the flight, but I sat down, I already put my seatbelt on, but the pilot did not want to fly me. Every single time I apply for a role, I have to declare in the first round that, hey, I have Tourette's. But it's more like asking them to accommodate rather than looking at me for my skill set first. So that's always been a hurdle for me. Like when during those time I was jobless, I have to go through like many rounds and like many rejections. I deal with like mostly international clients. And they're all like senior leadership. So I would say the mindset is very different, because for them it's like just informing, like, oh, by the way, Anne has Tourette's. Okay, let's move on. They look past it because I guess they live in like a more fast forward culture where like most of my clients are Americans or Europeans, where they don't see it as like a problem.
Dari segi neurologis mengatakan contoh dia ialah sindrom Tourette, tapi bila diberi kad OKU, dia diklasifikasi sebagai mental. Ada yang kes macam tu, ada yang mental, ada yang sindrom Tourette juga, ada plus dengan ADHD, maka dia punya kad OKU kata ADHD. Dan sebagai contoh, kalau macam Marcus, disebabkan tadi berkatakan dia half blind, pada asalnya kad OKU jatuh pada klasifikasi penglihatan. Disebabkan ada tambahan pada sindrom Tourette, maka diklasifikasi pelbagai. So maknanya JKM dia akan analyse case by case, dan tak semestinya bila ada sindrom Tourette maka perkataan sindrom Tourette ada di kad OKU tu.
I would say the systemic failure, like going back to that, like individual to individual is getting better, but systemic failure. So, for example, airlines need to make this accommodation. So, for example, overseas they have this sunflower lanyard, right? And you wear the sunflower lanyard. No, but here, you need to be accompanied by a guardian to sit in that room in KLIA.
Huh?
Yeah, and you have to fill in a form like it's like super long. So nobody recognizes the sunflower lanyard here. So it's as simple as that, like just having one lanyard and people universally recognizing it that you are someone special lah. So then they will know, and then they will acknowledge that. No need to ask, no questions asked. In terms of like opening up opportunities. So there's more like public or governmental, like they can open up academic opportunities, health, access to health.
I hope to see a policy change with anti-discriminatory laws that includes disability, and more representation in the arts and media. Have stories of us by us.
I hope that parents can, like parents who have a child with Tourette's like me, they can be patient, and they can accept the people with the child has Tourette's, and not be ashamed by the fact that his own child have Tourette's, rather than ashamed, but be proud of the child, because he's a Tourette's fighter. He's fighting his mental with himself every single day.